Hi everyone, welcome back to the Dr. Sia channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about disorganized attachment and how it's affected by COVID-19. Let's get started. All right, so people who have a disorganized attachment, as the attachment style itself says, tend to be disorganized and chaotic. Meaning that when they experience hurt, pain, suffering, or pressures or stress from life in any way, they tend to go disorganized. They tend to engage in behaviors that are not really sensible. And they're not sensible in the sense that for people who are disorganized attachment, they go towards more suffering and towards more pain and towards more stress. So what happens for a person with disorganized attachment when they experience pressures in COVID-19 is that rather than engaging in things or behaviors that most of us would think would actually be reasonable to reducing their suffering, they tend to engage in behaviors that amplify or increase their suffering. So when you have a disorganized attachment and COVID-19 happens, instead of engaging in behaviors that, for example, would be like, okay, what can I do here? It seems like my boss has said that I can only stay in my job for another 2 weeks. So a sensible thing to do now is to maybe start looking for another job and see what I can find to secure myself. Instead, what they'll do is that somehow they might compromise the last 2 weeks of their job, get in an argument or a fight with their boss instead, and then even lose the last 2 weeks that they had at their work. So in a sense, people with disorganized attachment will do things that make the situation even worse for them. So not only do they now have to live with the pandemic going on here and with all the difficulties that they have with that, they might do things to compromise their work, and then they might do things to compromise their relationship with their partners. They might find themselves turning against their partners all of a sudden, being really extra attacking and negative towards their partners. And now not only has the pandemic affected their freedom and so on and so forth, and obviously all the casualties, all the deaths and all the loss that happened as a result of COVID-19, not only do they have to live with that and possibly affected family members in that, in addition to that, now they have to live with the fact that they're losing a job and they've somehow also sabotaged their relationship. In addition to that, they might find themselves sabotaging their friendships, their social security, so on and so forth and so forth. So this is a really difficult time for people who have a disorganized attachment in the sense that they'll be moving towards more insecurity, towards less security, towards more abuse or more difficulty, which is just something that happens when they feel hurt and pain. So what can then ISTDP do for people who have a disorganized attachment? Well, basically what we help them do, firstly, is to regulate that anxiety. So basically when the COVID happens, they get very anxious, and in response to that anxiety, some part of them is going to want them to walk towards abuse as opposed to away from further difficulties. So what we can do is to help them regulate that anxiety to mitigate how much they will want to go towards further hurtful, further harmful situations. So that's one way. And then the second way that we can help them through that regulation is that once we regulate and help them understand how they go towards abuse, how their radar of safety doesn't take them away from abuse, but rather takes them closer towards abuse, what we can help them do is to also not sabotage their relationships, sabotage their work relationships, sabotage their social circles, and so on and so forth, so that once the pandemic is over, they don't find that it affected them more than it needed to affect them, or more than it naturally would. I hope this video was useful for you. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be releasing videos basically every other day now. I'm really trying to ramp it up because I enjoy it, because I think it's really fun, and because it seems like it resonates with a lot of people out there. But please do subscribe, press that subscribe button. You have no idea how much it helps me seeing that there is a community out there and I'm not just talking to myself. So please do subscribe, tell your friends about the channel too, and check me out on Insta as well, on @Dr. Sia, where I post a lot about disorganized attachment as well. I'll see you next time.